V. Hope you're all good. It's Thursday night. It's a Thursday night 7 p.m. stream. We're going to talk for the next half hour. Get your questions in. Any thoughts? Anything you want to talk about? It's just me in the comment section today. So any thoughts you've got on what's happening in the world of Arsenal? Any kind of thing you want to chit chat about? Let us know. At the moment, things I really want to talk about: Liverpool last night against Villa. Do we care? Should we care? How much should we care? Of course we care, but you know what I mean. Like, how much should we be kind of looking what Liverpool are doing as opposed to focusing on us and what we should be doing? That Watkins goal. I mean, did anyone else see that and go, we could do with a bit of that in our team? I want to talk about Ollie Watkins in a little bit more detail as well, because look, it's a good goal. He remains a threat in front of goal, and for what was reported about £20 million more, we didn't want to do that deal. But also want to look ahead to the Champions League draw tomorrow. And reflect on the format a little bit. Reflect on whether we liked the playoffs kind of side of things. Did it kind of add much to it? And also talk about it's going to be final or PSV. So we're going to talk about that, but also look at the other matchups and try and understand what we can understand from tomorrow's draw. So a little bit of on the spot research will be happening, but there we go. Apologies if sometimes I have to mute myself and just cough like I do now. Apologies, I'm still somewhat recovering. But there we go. And of course, like I said, we're going to start with talking about the Liverpool stuff. Have they opened the door somewhat? And I did a video on the Gooniverse yesterday where a big thing I was really trying to get across is like, yes, okay, maybe there will be a little bit of a way in for Liverpool, for Arsenal, anyone challenging for the title. That might be presented by Liverpool if they sort of continue to drop a few more points here and there. But it's about going and grabbing it. And no one's going to give you favors on your way to winning a title. You've got to do it yourselves. And at the moment, Arsenal aren't quite doing that. So we'll talk about that all in a little bit more detail. And that's why, comments like this, calm down, son, calm down, from Jonathan Moore. I don't think it's interesting, this, because, you dare kind of explore the idea that Arsenal could claw that gap more, could maybe, drag themselves even more into this race. You explore that and you are met with this kind of reaction. Calm down, relax, let's wait and see. But the reality is that every football match, every 90 minutes that's played, every point you put on the board, it's all towards something. And what Arsenal are trying to, accumulate those points for right now is a Premier League title. And, we're not saying this from 5th or 4th or even 3rd. We're saying it from 2nd. If there's no race, then give Liverpool the trophy right now if we're not in it, because at that point, if that is how everyone feels about it, then wrap it up there. The reality is that no one's ever won that title till it's done. It's not handed out early. You've got to get it done mathematically, and until it is, second place will always be that closest challenger. All I'm saying is complete and utter common sense. There's nothing smart about what I'm saying here, but it's that sense of, well, you just got to kind of keep going. And like I said, if we were 3rd or 4th, maybe it'd be different because there's others in a race and you'd be saying, look, we haven't really been worthy of it. And this season, we haven't really been worthy of it, but we are still 2nd. And Liverpool, when they look down, they see our name. So, you kind of just got to maybe not. I always like to differentiate belief and hope. I don't know if I believe. I don't think I do believe that we're going to win this title. In fact, I don't. I believe Liverpool will win it. But do I hope we can? Absolutely. And people's hopes will be kind of in a different way. But I'll always just remain hopeful. I'll always just remain quite like I said, wanting Liverpool to drop points and wanting Arsenal to pick up 100% of theirs and seeing where it leaves us. But I want to look at the Premier League table in a little bit more detail in a second, explain why Arsenal going to have to earn this. And it's similar to something I said yesterday on the Gooniverse, but we'll go through in a bit more detail. And then you get things like this, and Fizzy, I get it. We'll just drop points to Forest and United. I mean, it would just be so typical, wouldn't it? That's what I mean by earning it. If you go to Forest and win, if you go to Old Trafford and win, then, you start to, I don't know, you start to at least send a message to Liverpool. Have Arsenal done anything this season that's sent a message? I mean, the Man City result, maybe, but not really. I mean, at no point this season have we done anything that's made others go, wow, they look like they could genuinely win this title. And that's the task for Arsenal. No, Ryan, will be just me. So like I said, get your thoughts in. Good afternoon, Dylan. Hope you're good. Evening. Just Tom. Nothing else. Just Tom. There we go. Good to see you all. No one else on the panel, just me. It's not the Gooniverse. We are live here on AFTV, but you know, it was quite similar to the lives that I run on the Gooniverse. Robbie's busy, but Robbie's always let the man have a night off, people. You know, he can. I'm not even sure he is having a night off. He never has a night off, but let Robbie relax as well. It's fine. You know, he's allowed to chill. But like I said, I'm not sure that's even what he's doing. He's probably busy. Here we go. The celebration police are in. Oh God! Stream over. There's no stream over. It's done. What's the point? Sorry, I'll calm down, Turkish. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting too excited about a couple drop points for Liverpool. Thank you for your super chat. Sir Michael Oliver will go into super chats and everything in a little bit. Let me I want to show you all something. But you have to bear with me a second. Let me get the Premier League table up. And I think I'll be able to share my screen. I want everyone to see this. I think it's quite important to kind of make a point that I made on the Gooniverse, but I was kind of making it a bit. It was quite late after the Liverpool game. I was watching Man City, and your head can be a little bit all over the place. Right, here we go. So you should see this. There you go. You can see this. Yeah, that's better positioned. So here we are, Premier League table, and there's what 8-point gap. 8 points behind with the game in hand. Look, that's a much healthier position. Is it actually? I was about to say it's a healthier position than we've been in. It's still 8 points. we still at some point need to accumulate those 8 points. But still so far. But anyway, we're 8 points behind them. We have a game in hand. No game's easy. It's no given. They had a game in hand for ages, and it was Everton away, and obviously that ended in a draw for them. But one of the things I really wanted to mention is this here, the one defeat Liverpool have had all season. I think it's really important to remember that even when they are having sort of bad days, they're dropping points. They're putting a point on the board, another point on the board, another point on the board. You know, for context, you know, it'd be 3 points less if, you know, it was 4 draws, but they'd had, you know, a few more defeats in there. And, you know, that 3 points can make a big difference in the end. So Liverpool being difficult to beat, as well as, they've sort of slipped up a few times. Whether it be Fulham at home, Man United at home, Forest away at third, a draw. Is that? Sorry, I don't know if you can hear some sirens outside. But, you know, is that a draw at Forest necessarily drop? Was this a thing with Liverpool, right? It's like drawing at Everton at Goodison Park, drawing at Villa Park, drawing at St James's Park, drawing, you know, away at Forest, the City Ground. You know, these aren't bad draws, really. It's not a bad point. It's the fact that Liverpool and Man City over so many years have kind of set a standard, right? Which is 90 plus points, 93, 94 in title races. And that's what it was going to take to sort of win these trophies, to win the Premier League. That's what it's taken. I mean, let's go back to 22-23. Man City won it with 89 points. But remember, they kind of threw the last 2 games. The season before that, City and Liverpool, 93 and 92 points. Season before that, it was a bit lower. Yeah, Man City won it on 86 points. We'll go to 1920. Liverpool won it on 99 points. You go season before that, 98, 97. You know, it's just extraordinary points tallies. And then I think that's the Centurions, the year before that, 100 points. But the thing about Liverpool, if we just take it back to this campaign, I'm waffling a little bit, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm trying to say here. The thing about Liverpool is we talk about, well, if they only slip up a couple more times, maybe we could be in here. I think Liverpool could really lose 2 more games and maybe draw 2 more games. So that's basically dropped 10 more points and actually still probably win the title. And the reason I think this, if we go to 14-15, when Chelsea won the title under Jose Mourinho, they hit 87 points. They lost 3 games. Obviously, that's 2 more than Liverpool have now. And they drew 9. So that's 2 more draws. That's what I mean. They can still hit 87 points with 2 more draws and 2 more defeats in there. And when I look at this Arsenal team, I wonder, are we going to accumulate another 80, up to 87 points? So how many games are there? 13 games. Are we going to accumulate another My mental math is shocking, but 34 points. How many points? 34 from how many? Let me have a little look. We've got 13 games times 3. 34 from 39. I think look, my mental math on the spot might be terrible. The big point I'm trying to make here, everyone, while I am absolutely waffling on, I totally know that. The point I'm making is I don't think Liverpool have to be kind of perfect. I don't think they have to be perfect. I think they can afford a couple more sort of bad results and largely be fine because the onus is more on us to be perfect. So even though I kind of get excited for a second, I go, wow, they just drew at Villa Park. They just drew at Goodison Park. They were also putting a point on the board. They're also getting just another point in there, they didn't lose. They probably should have won. I think the big thing is that they were leading in those games and they didn't come away with all the points. And yeah, like I said, okay, they were leading and okay, they ended up drawing, but it's just not bad places to go to ultimately get a point. Now, I think Arsenal, and again, I said this on a video yesterday, but I think Arsenal need to earn it. I think Arsenal need to do something that kind of makes Liverpool look a little bit more like the Liverpool of that second half against Wolves. Maybe a bit shaky, maybe a little bit doubting themselves for once, maybe not quite as in control, conceding some chances. And, it's all well and good sort of hoping for a slip up here and there, but we're going to have to sort of wrestle something back in terms of we're going to have to do something like winning 5-6 in a row. We're going to have to put together that kind of momentum, 5-6 wins in a row that makes Liverpool look over and go, oh, they've hit some form. Do you know what I mean? That makes them go, oh, they've clicked a little bit, Arsenal. Then we're trying to do that with a 17-year-old with Trossard out on the left, he's a decent player. Of course, he's a decent player. Did well in the running, and maybe Marino up front, or Raheem Sterling. Asking him to step up, and we know how that's gone for most of this season. Let's bring the table back up. It for sure potentially looks a little bit more open, like there's something we can do. It looks a little bit more like there's something to chase there than it did even a month or two ago. But the onus, I struggle to really, like I said, I'm hopeful, but to get to that point of belief, I think I need to see us actually do something like a 5-6 wins in a row. We need that row of greens here, that just makes everyone go, so what's that? That's 3 wins in a row. If we get another 2 or 3, then you start to go, okay, Arsenal's starting to accumulate points, and Liverpool, of course, go to City, and then they've host Newcastle. They've still got trips to Chelsea, Brighton, and Fulham as well in this run-in. So they do have some tricky games. But I just think they'll largely keep a decent gap unless we do something like these accumulated wins, make that points gap go from sort of, to about 3 or 4. And then suddenly maybe, you're asking real questions of them. You're applying some pressure. I always felt when we were leading last season at times in the run-in, but we didn't lead much last season. But then we definitely did for a lot of the 22-23 campaign. I felt that there was just this unrelenting pressure from Man City. I don't know, just as a fan, I just felt we've got a gap, yet I can't really enjoy it because I don't think Man City are going to slip up. So every time we drew, for example, at West Ham or drew at home Southampton, it just felt like an absolute sucker punch because you just knew that was points you weren't getting back. City weren't going to be particularly forgiving. We've been quite forgiving with Liverpool this season. When they have drawn to Fulham, when they have drawn to Man United, we've dropped points that exact same weekend. When they drew at Forest and we won the North London derby, they end up winning at Brentford and we drop a 2-0 lead against Villa. And ultimately that gap is restored. So I just don't think we've had that unrelenting pressure on Liverpool. So, the title of this live stream is Have Liverpool Open the Door. And I just think a decent point at Villa Park and, an unbeaten run since September. I can't really say they've opened the door massively. I don't think they're shitting the bed at all. I just think, any side gets found out a little bit and, a couple of results that maybe could and should have been wins haven't been wins. But, this, like I said, they're still putting points to the wall. No one's beating Liverpool. That's what's so difficult about it. So I'm sort of torn. Of course, I'm more hopeful. Of course, I'm a little bit more hopeful. But like I said, we were reflecting on this table from exactly 10 years before. 2 more draws and 2 more defeats in what remains of the games for Liverpool, and they can still get 87 points, which I think is a tally that would probably win the title this year. Do Arsenal get to that? I'm not 100% sure. Remember, we got to 89 last season when we went on some unbelievable run, 16 wins out of 18 in what was pretty much the whole second half of the season. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go into your comments and we'll chat about Ollie Watkins in a little bit more detail as well. But let's go into your comments. Afsar says, agreed, Liverpool drop a few points, but we will drop points too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's where I am. It's like, will they drop enough to make up for what more points we're still going to drop, basically? It's funny. We're I think 15 games unbeaten. 5 of those are draws. Now, yeah, like a third of those games being draws isn't good enough, but then 15 games unbeaten. Arsenal will put a lot of points up on the board, but it still feels like there's quite a distance. Patrick says, I think you're looking at it all wrong. If Liverpool lose to City and you win the rest of your games, you win the league. It's in your hands. Okay, yeah. I mean, okay. It's in our hands. We've heard that before. Sure. Okay. If we win our game, if we beat West Ham and we win our game in hand, okay, let's call West Ham the game in hand, right? If we win our game in hand against West Ham, then 8 points becomes 5. And if they lose to Man City, then that's 5 of the game in hand. So if you win that game in hand, it becomes 2. And then, yes, technically it's in our hands. Technically, that means 2 points, go to Anfield, win all our games, win at Anfield, and you can be title winners. But I mean, with Marino up front, with Sterling on the wing, but yes, factually, that's correct. But, I just still think we're going to need, it's like I said, we're going to need some favors. We're going to need to earn it, man. We're going to need to put something together in terms of results because, just one draw to Forest and United, and we're sort of back where we started. Will says that they are showing cracks. And this is kind of, again, also kind of baked into the question. Have Liverpool opened the door? Are they showing cracks? I don't think they are quite as in control of games as they were at the start of the season. But showing cracks, I mean, it's meant to become harder. This is coming from someone who I've never seen, I've never seen my team win a title. It's meant to become harder, no? Teams are meant to raise their game now when they face Liverpool because they're top of the table, because they're expecting an even more difficult game, because everyone's just going to be even more prepped, even more ready for what Liverpool throw at them. That game against Villa, did they show cracks? Did they play bad? I mean, Villa are a really good side. They line up with Asensio, Morgan, Rogers, and Rashford behind Watkins. I mean, that front four is better than our front four. You look at that and you go, they didn't lose. I don't think they ever deserved to lose that game, Liverpool. And if Nunez tucks it away, then from 2-1 down, they're 3-2 up. And, maybe Villa get an equaliser and stick it on them. But, another day they could have won that game. I think the Wolves' second half was probably more. That was probably more evidence of them maybe showing cracks. But I don't. They won. They won the game. They found a way. I think you start to feel like they're showing cracks when there's a result that you go, yeah, that's very uncharacteristic. I don't think them conceding a couple goals against Villa, a couple goals against Everton is that uncharacteristic. I think even if they went and drew against City or Newcastle, I don't think that's kind of crazy. I'm talking, should we ever try have a little look at Liverpool's fixtures? Let's have a little look. Bear with me. Okay, so you should be able to see this. We all know what a Southampton at home in a run-in can do, eh? That old 3-3. If they were to not win this game, not win this Merseyside derby, West Ham at home. Let me not talk too soon. We've got West Ham home coming next. Leicester away. I mean, if they were to drop points in one or more of the, around 2 or more of these kind of games here, that's a tricky one for them away. Then you start to go, that's a bit uncharacteristic. that's signs of, maybe they're kind of showing cracks there. But yeah, I don't think we can say that. They like I said, they beat Wolves, and Everton will always be so up for that game at Goodison, and Villa Park is a tricky place to go. I just think, in most other seasons those are decent points, and it probably will still prove that way this season. To be honest, thing is, it's just giving us a little bit of hope. And like I said, because they were leading in those two games, perhaps feels a little bit worse they didn't go on and win them. Voal says, this title is for Arsenal. Watch this space. Right, let's go through some more. Inuma says, Liverpool are not City. They will drop huge points. Maybe, but like I said, when we dropped points in the run-in, we were a good side. So when we dropped points at Villa against Villa at home, I don't consider drawing at City drop points, if I'm honest. But then the season before that, we certainly did. Did anyone else feel like we were squeezed into that? Did anyone else feel like we were just pressured into dropping those points because City felt so relentless because of the magnitude of the task? I think that's what we need to make Liverpool do. People forget that Liverpool didn't handle the run-in very well last season at all. I'm not trying to have a pop or whatever when I say it. I'm just being honest. They didn't manage last season's run-in very well at all. And why was that? Because I think because City mainly, but Arsenal too, had a level of relentlessness that I think Liverpool struggled to keep up with. It was kind of, again, I think you feel this outward pressure. I think it's kind of forced upon you. And I just don't think we're doing anything right now to force that kind of pressure on Liverpool. But I think, I think that's what we've got to do. I think that's what we've got to do. I think we've got to put the kind of results together that makes them go, okay, yeah, they're behind us, which is why I like that we're playing before they go to the Etihad. I like that we're the first game, because if we can win that, I'll be on a plane when that's happening. If we can win that game, reduce it to 5 points, then you just send them to the Etihad with that's a bit closer than we've known it for a while. DG2 asks, what's happened to Firmino to Arsenal? Was this just another PR BS? I don't think it was PR or anything. I think it was just some reports saying that Arsenal might try and sign Firmino because there's a chance his contract, I think, was going to be terminated, but it hasn't been. And I think Fabrizio Romano I think Robbie confirmed live yesterday that Firmino is staying. So yeah, no chance. I didn't think we were going to get him anyway. Should we go through? Yeah, that'd be absolutely. And Michael, with all this, but we know this. I don't. A lot of people, whenever you want to kind of have this conversation about the title race and there being a door, opened or whatever, and then people go, "Oh, just focus on your team first. Focus on your games." And I get it, but like I said, we are part of this conversation, whether we believe we're going to win it or not. We are part of this conversation, so it is about kind of somewhat exploring how Liverpool are doing, how Liverpool are handling it, and what our responsibility, what our role is in trying to make this more difficult for Liverpool. It's like I said, I think Liverpool have dropped some points. Some might see some of those draws as points gained, but that's without us really having done much. Can we put together a run? Can we force some pressure on them? Let's go through super chats. So Michael Oliver says the PGR will ensure Arsenal don't win the league. I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. Although I still can't stand Michael Oliver, but there we go. Suj says, big up, James. I'm not sure I believe, but I hope. I just see it difficult with the injuries and the fact we don't have experience of getting over the line. Absolutely. I mean, so much would have to suddenly click. I mean, you're going to laugh, but one of Mourinho and Sterling have to become players that we can depend on in the forward line. I mean, what a crazy, crazy statement. But that would have to happen if we're to get anywhere near this title. You talk about Saka and Martinelli coming back. They have to come back ready to contribute immediately. That's a big ask for Saka, who's just had surgery. Martinelli's struggled most of the season, so who's to say he does? And the experience of getting over the line. I mean, I can talk about whatever pressure we can put on Liverpool. But let's say we do that. Let's say we put the pressure on. Let's say they fumble it a little bit, let us back in. Let's say we even go ahead of them in the table. Who's to say we then handle the pressure well? I think last season we largely handled it well, but that Villa defeat was such a killer. Did we kind of gas out mentally and physically? So, there's how we would handle all this, which is a part of it too. Michael says Cecil and Curtis Shaw on freeze. Yeah, I would do that. Why not? We need some numbers. I've seen them play. Good players. I like this. They've opened the door, but there's nobody to come in, and that's the responsibility of Arsenal. If there's to be a bit of a gap, go and take advantage. Yeah, but let's see if we're capable. Right, I want to talk about Ollie Watkins. I really liked his goal yesterday. I really, really liked his goal. Let's see if I can get his stats on Transfermarkt. I think I can. Bear with me 1 second. All sorts of ads. Yeah, leave me alone. Yeah, bear with me 1 second, people. The apps is all being a little bit faulty. But I do want to talk about Ollie Watkins because I thought he scored a really good goal. And apart from scoring a goal that might have done us a favour in a title race, I do wonder whether that £20 million extra, or supposedly that £20 million more, he might have taken to get him out of Villa. I do wonder whether, we just missed such a massive opportunity there. This is all over the place, but you should be able to see this now. All right, Watkins' numbers since arriving into the Premier League: 14 goals and 5 assists in his first campaign. Which I remember, I think they only survived on the final day. I might be wrong, but I don't think it was comfortable for Villa. Season after that, 11 goals, 2 assists, 15 goals and 6 assists, 19 goals and 13 assists last season in the Premier League as he went on to guide them to Champions League football. He's got 12 goals and 5 assists this campaign already. So assists is down, but he might well hit the 19 goals again. He's managed over 3,300 minutes, just shy of 3,000, just over 3,000, 3,200 and nearly 2,000 minutes already. He's had 1 double yellow and a red, otherwise largely always makes himself available. What a player he is. I think he's such a good player, Ollie Watkins. I really think we missed a big opportunity not bringing him in. I think that would Villa have definitely done the deal after selling Duran? The feeling is probably not, but then the reports were saying that they were willing to have a conversation around £60 million. Was that regardless of the Duran deal or dependent on it happening before the Duran deal? I don't know. But I watched that goal yesterday, involved in build-up, gives the ball wide, and then look at that drive and determination to sprint into the box. He just wants to attack whatever's going to come in there. And look, Digne whips a lovely ball in. I'm not sure how many players in our team have that delivery. Not from left back. I mean, Kieran Tierney is like the only one I think we can really think of. But he goes and attacks it, and Villa are 2-1 up. And I was watching that first half and didn't think Villa was so in it. I thought second half they got a lot better. But I thought Villa were competitive and trying for sure. But I didn't really see them having Liverpool under the cosh. But they score, from a set piece, and Tielemans does well. By the way, how good was Yuri Tielemans yesterday? But then that Watkins goal is just really well crafted. And it's a really good header, and there was just a hunger to get into the box and and nod that into the back of the net that I just think lacks in our team. I mean, if there's one thing Mikel Merino can do well, and you're all going to think I'm joking, I'm not. I mean, deadly serious. There's one thing Mikel Merino can do which would impress Arsenal fans, even for now, even as he's just doing a job. It's have that hunger to get into the box, because his movement's clearly quite good. He's clearly quite a decent finisher. And he's got a decent presence about him. Use your 6'2" frame and get into the areas he literally did against Leicester. Try to get on the end of crosses. There you go. Apparently, Arsenal scored more goals from crosses than any other team this season. Ollie Watkins would have fit well. He would have fit really well. I think the other thing I want to ask, though, and I'll put this in the comments. I'd love you all to come in with your thoughts and comments on this, is will Arsenal go back in for Ollie Watkins? Or was that it? Was that the moment for him? Was that the moment for Arsenal? Basically, potential PSR constraints for Villa, and the fact that it's not looking great for top four for them. It's not looking bad, but it's not looking great. 29, and the likes of Sesko could be available this summer, and we know that there's other players we might look at. Was that the moment for Arsenal and Ollie Watkins to do a deal? I just don't think we'll go back in for him this summer, even though these numbers I think are impressive. I think huge credits to someone who, for me, bar one season where he hit 11. I think he's pretty much proven he can score goals in this division. 14, 15, and 19, 71 goals in 107. Basically, he's got just over 100 goals and assists in 172 games. It's not bad. And Villa have not always been at the level that they have been under Unai Emery. Is this the moment? I see what you're all saying in the comments, but was that the moment to try and get Ollie Watkins? Is that pretty much it, do you think? Let's have a little look. Lyric says, if Ollie Watkins signed for Arsenal, Liverpool would have won against Villa. You don't know that, but maybe, sure. Oh, here we go. The Watkins moment has gone. Yeah, I think that's my feeling on it, and I think a few people are feeling that. When I sort of ask people, do you think Ollie Watkins didn't happen in January? Will we go for him again? A lot of fans tend to agree that was kind of it for Ollie. That was probably the moment. I just don't see a world in which Arsenal spend. I'm no expert on Benjamin Sesko, but even if Ollie Watkins is today a better player than Benjamin Sesko, which I think he probably is, if Ollie Watkins is today a better player than Benjamin Sesko, I'm sure there'll be scouts of people going, yeah, but Benjamin Sesko in 2-3 years could explode in the way Alexander Isak did. And I think they'd rather invest in that potential. And, if you're looking for proven goal scorer across Europe around a similar fee, Gyökeres has a release clause around 65 million. I just don't think they'll go for Watkins again. As much as I would. Is that what I want? Not as my first choice, but I wouldn't mind if we signed a winger, like a top winger, and Watkins was a player we added. I mean, Watkins can score goals in the Premier League. But yeah, it was a really good goal. It was a really good goal against Liverpool. Put Villa 2-1 up. And yeah, from 1-0 down, they kind of wrest themselves back into the game, having not been great. I kind of thought they were weirdly better in the second half. But Emery's doing some good stuff there, and it did us a bit of a favour yesterday. We've got some more super chats. Yes, we do. Psychedelic Badger says, I don't like this thing Robbie has been doing, talking about adversity a lot in every stream, basically hoping we get an injured Salah. I thought he was better than that. Okay. I've heard Robbie talk about this before, and while I don't want to speak on behalf of Robbie, I think this is probably what he's saying, and I think we need to sort of understand it, because I don't think it's cynical. He's always said he doesn't wish injury on players. I think the point Robbie's making, which I understand, is maybe for it to swing, for there to be a real swing in momentum in the title race, it would need Liverpool to not have certain key players available. Now, no one's sitting here going, yeah, we want them all to get injuries. I mean, injuries are actual, they're serious things for footballers, right? But I think the point he's making is that is just the kind of thing that might level the playing field. And that's just natural. Injuries, not being able to field some of your best players would make Liverpool a worse side. We all want to just beat the Liverpool in front of us. Tell you what we all want. We want our players back. We want Bukayo Saka fit. We want Kai Havertz fit. We want Gabriel Jesus fit. We want Gabriel Martinelli fit. We want Erdegaard back at his best. That's what we want. We want Arsenal at their very best to compete, but we don't have that at the moment. And we're not going to for the rest of the season, because we know that Jesus and Havertz are out. We don't really know how much Saka can contribute this campaign, and Martinelli we don't know about. But I think he's talking about that would kind of level the playing field, because that's just facts, really. It would, but no one's sitting here kind of wishing and hoping that happens. It's just what would sort of happen if Liverpool lost a couple players through injury. Then it would feel like there's a slight vulnerability to them, as there is with Arsenal without Bukayo Saka. It's just natural. Yeah. Burmy says Watkins was a stopgap measure and not a long-term plan. The option is now gone. When Arsenal buy a striker, he will be a part of the team for many years to come. Yeah, I think that's probably true. The Now School says, yep, agree Watkins is quality change. Would Arsenal fork out 60 million in the summer? I think they will for the right player. I just don't think they'll think Watkins is the right player. But let's see. All right, I wanted to chat about the Champions League. So bear with me 1 second. We've got the Champions League draw tomorrow, 11 a.m. I'll be live reacting to it on AFTV. Right, let's have a little look. Because what I want to see is... Oh, sorry, this is such a... Okay, here we go. I'm not going to show it because there's ads. But basically, Arsenal... let's make that a bit smaller. Okay. Right, I've got it in front of me. So, Arsenal will face one of PSV or Feyenoord after they knocked out AC Milan and Juventus. Feyenoord knocked out AC Milan. Was there a striker they sold, Jimenez, starting for AC Milan? Oh, I think he must have only joined them in January. And there you go. Feyenoord knocked them out. PSV knocked out Juventus. So we could be playing PSV for a third season in a row. Now, we beat them, if I'm remembering the results correctly. We beat them 4-0 last season in the Champions League groups. We drew 1-1 away. I think we lost 2-0 to them. Yeah, I remember. So the season before that in the Europa League, we lost 2-0 away, but I think we beat them 1-0 at home. I think it was a Granit Xhaka goal. So the Emirates we've done, I think, against PSV. And PSV have also knocked us out the Champions League. Do you remember, was it Alex, I think, who scored in 2006, 2007? They knocked us out the Champions. They knocked us out the Champions League. That was a bit of a shock result, if I remember correctly. I remember being shocked, but then I was so young. My knowledge of football probably wasn't the best at the time. So it could be PSV again. It could be Feyenoord. Now, is Robin van Persie going to be the Feyenoord manager? I have a feeling he is, Or is he the manager? No, let me have a little look. No, he's at Herenveen. I think he still is, actually. But I saw something. Let me know in the comments if you know. I think there was something about Robin van Persie being involved with Feyenoord in some way, shape, or form. So I might be wrong. But yeah, PSV or Feyenoord. Now Liverpool will play PSG or Benfica. Now, if they get PSG, that will be a really tricky tie. PSG are not the PSG that we beat in October or September. No, 1st of October, I think it was. Yeah, I remember because it's my dad's birthday. They really have clicked since then. PSG. Barcola looks sensational. Much better balance than midfield. They've added Kvaratskhelia. I thought they were really good from 2-0 down against Man City. They did really well. And since then, they've kind of eased their way through. Even though they've not had the Champions League campaign they'd have wanted, they finished 15th in the overall league table. That they're looking good. They've got a really nice project over there. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, Barcola cooking now. Vitinha, good player. Of course, they've got João Neves as well. Here we go. Oh, is this right? Ormsey confirmed that Van Persie will be the next Feyenoord manager. Okay, wow, there we go. So there was something, yeah. Devlin says, yes, Van Persie became Feyenoord's manager today. Well, there we go. So it could be Arsenal, Van Persie. I hope it's Feyenoord, forgetting the Van Persie thing, just because we played PSV a few times. It'd be nice to mix it up. Villa, on the other hand, will play one of Dortmund or Club Bruges. Now, I think it could have been Atalanta, but they got knocked out by Bruges, who had done brilliantly. I thought Bruges, who City beat 3-1 on the final day. Yeah, and Bruges won 1-0 up. I thought they looked quite dangerous in the counter-attack. I think Bruges could easily have scored a couple more goals. So, yeah, look, I mean, I'd love to see Villa Dortmund. I'd love to see Liverpool versus PSG. And then hopefully we get, Feyenoord. But, either way, Feyenoord or PSV, the expectations that Arsenal can come through that. But, it's the Champions League. We always make a bit of a mess of it, don't we, somehow? In Europe, we just don't have the same composure. Now, what I wanted to see... Oh, I've lost it. Here we go. Trying to get an idea for the draw. What I want to know is if the draw... Okay, let me read this out, Pod. I'm going to do some reading from the Sky website. So how does the Champions League last 16 draw work? The top 8 clubs are paired based on their positions at the end of the league phase to form 4-seeded pairs, first and second, third and fourth. Cool. The clubs in each seeded pair are drawn into one of two positions in the round of 16 against the relevant winner of the knockout phase playoffs, whose position was determined by the knockout phase playoff draw. 4 bowls were prepared for the draw, with the balls containing the names of each of their yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah, all right, fine. They're explaining how a draw works, which I get. Basically, what I'm trying to understand is tomorrow, and if you know in the comments, let me know. Will we know tomorrow what the rest of the path looks like? Or is it a case of we'll just be drawn to either PSV or Feyenoord, as will everybody else with all the other sort of teams that won in their qualifying game? And will there then go on and be a draw after that? So if we beat Feyenoord, for example, we make it to the last 8, will there then be another draw is what I'm trying to understand. It looks here like they're going to do the draw and then we will see the path. I think we will be able to see the path from tomorrow, but we'll try have that double checked. Only one draw. So it's one draw now is going to tell us everything. There's not going to be another one. I think so. Yeah, the path is already there. Right, fine. Thank you, people in the comments letting me know. So, Alder says the path is already there, and Olu Sagan says no more draws after tomorrow. Right, got it. Mr. Dobalina says yes, tomorrow you know if Barca will play Real Madrid in the semis, for example. So essentially, thank you. I appreciate you sharing all this. So, if I let me try and share this because I'd love to show you. Here we go. Right, there we go. So we're going to know. Basically, these have happened. So this round of 16 will all be filled out. Oh, sorry, you can't see my arrow. There we go. This round of 16 will all be filled out tomorrow, and they'll be put into these positions. So we should know by tomorrow who we're playing and what side of the draw. So, for example, split this in half here. Yeah, PSV will be on one side of the draw, and Feyenoord will be on the other. If that's my understanding of it. So Arsenal, I think it's Arsenal or Inter, basically. I think Arsenal and Inter will be split. So I don't think we could play Inter to the final. Am I understanding that correctly? Again, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But from my understanding, we can't play Inter Milan till the final at best. I don't think it's a case of we're then completely randomly placed. Well, yeah, there you go. 1 or 2 here, and then 2 or 1 here. So yeah, I think I've understood that correctly. So if we get Feyenoord, on this side of the draw, so we'd be here. If we get Feyenoord here, we could only play PSV in the final. So what we basically want is for the harder teams to end up on the other side of the draw. Or bring it on. I mean, you're going to have to beat someone good anyway. I just hope we get our players back, which is why I'd sort of quite like it to be a little bit more ideal for now in the quarterfinal. But yeah, this path will be filled tomorrow. We will know, what the knockout round looks like. And that's quite exciting. Reminds me of tennis where, you kind of know the potential paths and potential semis and finals. As the tournament goes on, obviously there's some shocks and then that sort of mixes it up a little bit. But tomorrow we'll have a good idea of what a potential path to the final looks like. Now the dates are March 4th and 5th and March 11th, 12th for the last 16 games. So I'll actually be in Australia for both. There we go. Quarterfinals will take place, less than a month after, April 9th, 8th and 9th to April 15th, 16th, April 29th, 30th to May 6th, 7th, and then the 31st at the Allianz Arena. Now, last time they had it there, wasn't that when Chelsea won it, when they beat Bayern Munich at their own ground? So, well, Chelsea aren't in it this year, but it was the ground where a London club won it for the first time in their history. This is all I'm going to say. It's shameless, isn't it? But there we go. So there'll be a reaction to that on AFTV. We'll be live on the channel tomorrow. So look out for that. Saka back for the quarters. Yep, I think very possible. Yogi, I think very possible. What else have we got? Additionally, Barcelona and Liverpool will all have second legs at home up to the final. Okay. Do you guys think that makes a massive difference? I think it probably does. I think it probably is better. I stupidly said that I thought having the second leg at St James's Park was a good thing for us, and I was wrong. in hindsight, it'd have been good even if you lose that first game 2-0 to take it to the Emirates, knowing what you've got to do. I think that second leg at home will always be better. Walk the Mental Talk says, you truly reckon we have any hope of winning the Champions League? The Real Madrid, Bayern, etc. way too strong for us, especially with Mourinho up front. I don't think we're favourites. Far from it. But strange things have happened in football. Why not? It's got to be a first time for everything, eh? So, be hopeful and see how it goes. Yeah, PSV final, good away trips. I'm sure they will be. Obviously, Lee, Julian, Cecil, Robbie, they'll be making that trip. And yes, everyone's agreeing that what I was saying about the draw was correct, which is good. So this is interesting. The final route will be easier, says Peter, because we'll not have Real Madrid on our side. How do we know that, though? How do we know? So we can't have final and Real Madrid on the same side? I don't know. All be revealed tomorrow anyway. But look, we're going to round off in a sec. So any final questions, get them in now. Big thanks for all your comments. Super appreciate it. I appreciate it, Lucas. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. All 1,000. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this video. Go check out the Invincible podcast. I would have forgotten the name. It's late. It's 8:45. I'm sorry. Go check out the Invincible podcast where they talk about Liverpool and the title race a bit more detail. But that was a big thing I really wanted to ask everyone today. Have Liverpool open the door? And if they have, what do we have to do to step through that door? And I think it really is momentum. It's pressure. It's doing something that makes Liverpool look down at us and go, well, they're clicking. And I don't think we've done that yet. I really don't think we have. But I do think they're doing just enough to let us in a little bit. But you're going to have to, like I said, and I've said a million times, you're going to have to earn it. You're ultimately going to have to earn it if you want to win the title. So he says, I think we'll be playing Liverpool or Madrid in the semis. Depending on daylight saving, James, it'll be 6 or 7 a.m. in Australia. Yeah, so, well, I won't be there for the semis. I'll be there for the round of 16 games, which I think are at, like 7 a.m. In fact, I'm there for Man United Arsenal, which is a 3:30 a.m. game. You fans are amazing who get up to follow this club. And even if you don't, even if you just wake up and you catch up on it all after, following, your football club from around the world is, you've got so much admiration for it. I've got a friend who's having to book off work on the Monday to try and catch, Arsenal at 3:30 because that's the time of the Man United game. So there we go. Look, a big thank you all for joining. I super appreciate it. The draw's tomorrow. Let's find out who we get and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on the title race. All right, we'll leave it there. Big thanks. Catch you all in a bit.